Good evening. I call to order the Lake Havasu City Council regular meeting on Tuesday, March 8th, 2022 at 6 p.m. We'll now have an invocation from Stephanie Loiris from Christ Chapel, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance from the Department of Veterans Affairs Lake Havasu Vet Center.
Good evening. Won't you pray with me? Most gracious and loving Heavenly Father, as we gather together this evening to go about the business of this great community, we remember the people of the nation of Ukraine and we raise them up to you and pray for their safety and well-being. We also remember our military and our first responders. And as we grow closer to home, we remember the business of this community, the area that we live, that we raise our children, the place that we call home. And as we make decisions here tonight, we gather in an air of respect for each other, for friendships and in family, and that we ask for wisdom for our leaders and for the decisions that are made tonight, that they are made in the best interest in all that are concerned. Please be with us, that we can listen with open minds and hearts, and that this community continues to be one of the greatest places in the world. We ask all these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Oh, got shocked. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And Andy, if you'd like to share a little bit about what the Vet Center does with us.
Absolutely, Mayor Cal. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. There we go. For those that do not know me, my name is Andy. I'm with the Department of Veterans Affairs at our Vet Center located at 1720 Mesquite Avenue, Suite 101. My office phone number is 928-505-0394. Again, my name is Andy with the Department of Veterans Affairs at the Vet Center. My address is 1720 Mesquite Avenue, Suite 101. My phone number is 928-505-0394. In the very brief 60-second soundbite that I have here, Mayor Cal and his entire entourage here has graciously allowed me to give you all a quick little tidbit of what the Vet Center is and does, can help you, can help our town for free. Does not cost you guys a penny. The Vet Center assists veterans and their families with counseling, individual counseling, bereavement counseling, group therapy, group support, benefits explanations, and a myriad of things too numerous to list. So if you are a veteran, your father's a veteran, your cousin, your neighbor, or something like that, I highly encourage each and all of you to reach out to me or my staff, and we will do absolutely everything that we can do in our power to assist you, your loved one, or whomever that veteran, the spouse, or that support group is for free. Don't worry about the eligibility or anything like that. Just come to us, let us figure it out, and we'll be happy to assist you in every way possible. I mean that sincerely. On the back table, I'm gonna drop off some pamphlets. If anybody does have any questions, comments, concerns, they don't want to voice it right here, I'll happily step back there as well to answer any questions, comments, concerns. Thank you so much for having me.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for being here. The next item on the agenda is the roll call. Ms. Williams, if you'd please call the roll.
Council members Nancy Campbell.
Present.
David Lane.
Here.
Michelle Lynn.
Here.
Cameron Moses.
Here.
Jenny Koch. Here. Vice Mayor Jim Dolan.
Also present.
Mayor Cal Sheehy.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the call to the public. This is where citizens have the opportunity to address the city council within matters within the jurisdiction of Lake Havasu City. That would mean it would be something that the council could do, or it's in the purview of Lake Havasu City. Your comments are limited to 3 minutes. There is a light indicator box next to Ms. Williams. Green means you have 3 minutes. Yellow means you have 1 minute remaining. And red means that the 3 minutes is up. If you are here for an item that's on the agenda, we encourage you to wait till that time so we can have a two-way conversations. During call to the public, since it's not on the agenda, we can just listen intently to what your comments may be. You do not have to sign up for a call to the public, but we did have a few citizens do that. So we'll go in the order they signed up, and then we'll open it up to anyone else that would like to address the council during call to the public. The first speaker is Cindy Johnson. And Ms. Johnson, if you just pull the microphone, it'll just bend right down to you. Thank you. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening. Is that good?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Cindy Johnson. I am a resident of Lake Havasu City. I just wanted to say thank you for silencing the speakers who want to give us information on the virus and the vaccine, because we don't want to know anything that might help save a life. And thank you for silencing the speaker who brought in the pictures of all of the young people, those beautiful smiling faces that had died as a direct result of getting the vaccine. Because again, we don't want to know that information. That's not pertinent to the jurisdiction of this council. I know you've heard the term, knowledge is power. I believe that any information that benefits the citizens of our community should be pertinent to the jurisdiction of this council. A year ago, I lost a family member because we weren't informed. We didn't have the information of ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine. Well, now I am informed and I do know what's going on, but that's not going to bring Michael back. I'm sure the families of those wonderful young people that had died wish they had been informed. I know why the government doesn't want us to have this information about the virus and the vaccines, but I don't understand why you don't want us to have it. I hope that you never lose a loved one because you were not informed of information, like the information that you silenced because it wasn't pertinent to the jurisdiction of this council. We're all neighbors here. Everyone in this room, we're a neighbor. And good neighbors watch out for each other. So please, next time, do what you know in your hearts to be right. Let the people speak. Thank you.
Thank you. And the next speaker is Karen Vanderjack.
Good evening, Council. Karen Vanderjack and Mayor Sheehy. Hi.
Hi.
Today, I'm just speaking off the cuff. I just found out about something at 3:30, and I just had to bring it to your attention. Maybe you don't even realize it, and great. This is a wonderful opportunity, especially those who are running for office, to do something about it. Did everyone notice that the gas just went up? $1? Yeah. And you're probably going, well, this is not within our jurisdiction. Okay, it is in your jurisdiction because there are companies that are here in Lake Havasu City. I looked it up. I did some I literally only had a few minutes to do research, but let me explain what happened. Gasoline was $75 a barrel, thank you, and it went up to $133 a barrel, and so immediately the price went up. Well, it takes about 6 weeks. I mean, I was told that there was even some kind of law, not law in Arizona, but a some kind of court case where the gas is supposed to run out that's at a certain price before you gouge us. Okay, so gouging's going on. Is there a law in the state of Arizona for gouging? No. But can you contact the attorney? Yes, I checked with Ron Gould, our supervisor, and he already made his phone call to the Attorney General. Yes, he knew it was not a law. What can you do? You could get together and think, hey, let's come up with some kind of ordinance to protect the people in our city. So, you know, even if it doesn't happen, we need to see that you people, especially those who are running, that you sincerely want to help us. Maybe you could at least get together and say, hey, let's turn it over to the attorney. What can we do? So you think about what's happening right now. You are the lower magistrate, and you do have some powers. Don't sit on your hands on this one. You weren't sitting on your hands when COVID came along. You were ready to shut the businesses. You were ready to mask us up. You were on board day one before we had any deaths or anything. You were like, woohoo, let's go. But now this has come along, and you're like, are we going to be silent about this? Can we find out what we can do, guys? That's all I'm asking. So see what you can do.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to address the City Council during call to the public? Hey, if so, just make your way to the podium. Yeah, come on forward and just state your name for the record.
My name is Titus Worf, and I don't really know how to approach this. I actually came to ask questions more than tell you guys. But I had a job at Planet Fitness, and I loved it, and was, in my eyes, sexually assaulted by an individual that I asked to keep his pants on right next to me. And then I looked into it, and it is okay to be naked and profound or obscene should be the word in a locker room. And I don't see the difference between a public bathroom at the beach where I have to change in the changing area or in the stall as the locker room. And it happened for months, and I've lost my job, and it's affected my life, and it should be looked into. It's very disturbing. I wake up with mental images of that, and people call me a sissy and stuff, but I have a rough past, and I'm okay with it. But if you want to be nude, go to Black's Beach in San Diego or whatever. Do it in your own home. But in public, which it is a public restroom, it should not be allowed. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, would anyone else like to address City Council at call to the public?
May I follow that because it's related?
Certainly, yeah. Come up to the microphone. Yeah, make your way to the mic and state your name for the record, please.
My name is Janet Worf, and I'm Titus's mom. And when he first came home with this, I was kind of wishy-washy because, you know, I'm 62 and I grew up where you dress in the gym bathrooms. And I don't have a problem with it being a woman, but I got to thinking about it, and I'm a night thinker, so I'd wake up many mornings with more and more on my mind concerning this matter. And, you know, you're allowed to bring young men 12 years old to the gym. And the problem is this man was in his 70s, and he stood up for himself, and he said, I don't have to go in the dressing room. I can drop my drawers right here and da-da-da-da-da. And it was a matter of, you know, being bent over when you walk in the stall, in the bathroom. And so, and then there's people who've been imprisoned and are traumatized by this. And would anybody want their 12-year-old son to turn the corner to a 70-year-old man completely bent over, totally nude, drying his feet right when you walk in the bathroom door? So he really would like some information on who he could speak to. If anybody knows, we're the Worfs. You can give us your number or take ours. But, you know, he also had a medical issue when he's 16, I'll just say that. And he's recovered wonderfully. But he hasn't had a job. And this is with Social Security, because he gets Social Security benefits. And with Social Security, this was his first 20-hour-a-week job, and he truly loved it. And because they wouldn't change their policies, and it means so much to him, it was a mutual decision for him to part ways. And now he doesn't even go to the gym, which is just, to me, very sad. So thank you for your time. If anybody has any information, please contact us.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, if only my mom had raised me a little bit taller, that would be nice. Good morning. I'm Bonnie Toy. Happy to see you. Oh, look. It does move. Oh, nice. Sanitizer and coconut water. Sparkling coconut water. Okay, I have a couple concerns that I wanted to discuss that were crossing my brain randomly. So I do like to, I don't know why I started liking doing that, but hey, life's what it is. Okay, one, again, with the lights on the bridge, was curious about whether or not there is a warranty on the lights for the bridge. The bus system, I was wondering if when you change bus routes and adjust all that, how you inform the public. The high density housing issue in the middle of downtown area. This morning, it was the oddest thought occurred to me, thinking about the future of Lake Havasu and the downtown area and picturing more people living in the crowded area already, and this beautiful street that is closed off to the public during certain times, that if you increase the population in that area that have to have access to it, the chances of you being able to constantly close that street for the beautiful events that happen and partake in that area will be limited. And I dislike the idea of you having to, of more building in that area causing the whole change and makeup of McCulloch Boulevard because you have to close it down. I mean, you won't be able to close it down anymore if you build up too much housing in the area. So that was some of my random thoughts. That and, hold on. Don't you love cell phones and devices that turn off in the middle of all your thoughts? I believe that was all of them. Well, not all of them, but they'll come and go.
Yeah, thank you, Bonnie. Would anyone else like to address the city council during call to the public?
Good evening, Council, Mayor, Don Wisdom. I was talking to our board of directors the other day, and they were asking me, can you find out when the new increase for the water sewer bill, when that's going to jump? It jumps once for every 5 years, and 5 years we're done. Is that correct? You can answer that.
Yeah, it's not on the agenda, Mr. Wisdom, but feel free to reach out to me after this and I'll answer any question you have about that.
I did want to say is awesome. The 32 car show they had, I understand they had like 500 vehicles. That's special. And I really like the Main Street on Thursday night, and people go out and show their cars and see all the money they spent. Thank you. Oh, excuse me. So we have just a moment of silence for the people in Ukraine. That is so horrible what's going on. And I'm really afraid it's going to come here. And we really have to keep our watchful eye on our government. Doesn't look too good for them right now. So let's be careful and cautious. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to address the city council on this matter or during the call to the public? All right, seeing none, we'll close the call to the public. Moving on to item 6, the consent agenda. Would any of the council members like to remove any of the items for separate discussion?
Mayor,
Councilmember Koch,
motion.
please.
Move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Koch and a second from Councilmember Lane. Is there any additional discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Item 7 is correspondence, communications, petitions, announcements, and the city manager report. We'll start with item 7.1, which is the Go Lake Havasu annual update. Mr. Knutson, if you would like to introduce that.
Sure. Good evening, Mayor, and good evening, Council. With us this evening is Terrence Concannon with Go Lake Havasu. He'll be presenting an annual update to the Council, as he does every year, talk about the successes over the last 12 months and some of the goals that their board has established for the next 12 months. Also with us is a chairperson, or is it President Chip Chalosky is in the audience as well as other board members. And I'll turn it over to you, Terrence, to take it from here.
Thank you very much,
sir.
Jess. And thank you to the City Council for having me today. It's certainly a pleasure to address you guys. This will be my 5th address to you, and in fact, 2 months I will be starting my 6th year here as the President and CEO for your tourism bureau. So I just wanted to give you guys an update on tourism in this community. You probably already had a pretty good idea, but I wanted to give you guys just an update on what we've done at the bureau and how proud I am of my staff and my board of directors. So moving forward. You already know some of these successes, but let's talk a little bit about them. Combined bed tax and bed tax and restaurant and bar tax, we have a 23% increase year over year, and as well as that, a little bit smaller number, but a bigger increase, 38% in our visitor center sales. The London Bridge 50th anniversary was a huge success. We were certainly happy about that, and our media outreach and our events profile has never been stronger. Our social media audience is up 30%. Year over year, and engagement is 13%. And I'm proud to say that we are the largest rural DMO recipient of Visit Arizona Initiative grant funding. We enjoyed 2 national awards this year, and this city is officially trademarked home of the London Bridge and Arizona's playground now. So we own those 2 trademarks, and we're happy to have those. And of course, our community programs continue to grow, and that's one of the areas where we're very, very proud. So this is our current board. As you can tell, I'm not going to go through every name, but this is a fantastic cross-section of our industries, including lodging, food and beverage, banking, and real estate. And it's just a tremendous board, and they've been very, very supportive of our efforts. But we couldn't do anything without this fantastic team of professionals, the Go Lake Havasu team. I have worked with a lot of teams in my career, hotels, tourism, and otherwise, and this is absolutely the most fabulous team I've ever worked with. All of you who are here, please raise your hands or stand up and let me acknowledge you. Jason and Pam and Jan, so proud of you guys, and thank you so much. So our revenue numbers are nothing to be sneezed at, as you can see. Our bed tax revenue is over $2 million this year. It's 25% year over year, the highest the city has ever seen in its history. Same with our R&B tax revenue, $1.8 million, 20% year over year. And that's also, again, our visitor center revenue is up 38% year over year with our revenue, and yet our visitors are down 3%. So that's a bit of a sad thing, but I'll take revenue over a visitor increase any day of the week. And I wanted to also let you know that our tourism revenue has gone up 68% since 2017. So in the last 5 years, we've really been firing in all cylinders when it comes to our tourism. Moving forward to our events. Our event profile, again, has never been stronger. Just a couple months ago, we enjoyed the 50th anniversary of the London Bridge, and that was one of the best events the city has ever seen. Of course, the NGK F1 Powerboat Championships were brought back, so we're very, very happy about that, and we're very happy to say that they're looking to return. The Electronic Dance Music Festival, Brownies and Lemonade, was another huge success. More successful, not just the revenue, but also the lack of police interaction and everyone having a great time. Go Lake Havasu Events Committee has a new funding matrix, which allows our event organizers to run more effective events. And we have a new, easier to navigate events calendar on golakehavasu.com. And I think if you look at it and you've seen our previous event calendar, you'll know exactly what I mean. We have more events of diversity in this community. I'm very, very proud of that. We brought the Pride Tour to this community, and we're bringing Latin Palooza to the community in this coming year. And again, we're positioning more event funds into midweek leisure and corporate groups because that's where our need resides right now. So let's talk about the golden anniversary as a very, very successful month of celebrations. Not just successful, but fun. Go Lake Havasu was a major financial and content contributor to the tune of over $134,000. And we sponsored some fantastic events. Concerts, golf tournaments, exhibitions, a massive media kickoff event, and the NGK F1 Powerboat Championships, as I'd mentioned before. We also provided you with the official event logo and event posters. And we sort of reskinned our website, but added a new website to Go Lake Havasu to celebrate the anniversary. So here is an AVE, which is an added value equivalency of the London Bridge 50 coverage. As you can see, when we started our content at the beginning of September, we had $5.2 million in add value equivalency. But then when we had our massive media kickoff on October 2nd, we had $8.3 million in add value equivalency. What that means is if we were to buy the same column inches in the newspaper, that's how much we'd have to pay. So fantastic coverage over every continent except Antarctica was included. Antarctica may have been included, but I don't have verification of that. Our media management is stronger than ever. We've pitched story ideas to over 100 travel writers this year, and we continue to work with content creators and influencers to create positive stories about the community. We've hosted writers that are dedicated to telling our story. And again, every continent except Antarctica. And we have created a new media library on CrowdRiff to make our content and our images more accessible. Our marketing campaigns, spring, summer, and fall, just as we always have been. What's changed this year is our campaign features more diverse and more multicultural models. We've also got more families and couples in there. Excuse me, my mouth is so dry right now. Anybody have a water? Yeah. Not this. Thank you, Jesse. You're a true gentleman. I actually have one that's in my car. So as you can see, we've got some very beautiful people on our advertising campaigns. So again, families and couples is what we're mainly focusing on. And we have a new advertising agency, which is 62 Above, based out of San Diego. And we're working very well with them right now. These are just a few more images of our current advertising campaign. And then our community industry programs. I'm so excited about this. This is something that most destination management organizations do not do or do to just a limited extent. But as you've seen over the last year or two, with the addition of Reagan Ross Robertson to our staff, she's brought a tremendous amount of focus to what we're happy to do for the community. It's our vision at Go Lake Havasu not just to provide a better destination for our travelers and our guests, but also to provide a better place for our citizens, our residents to live. Also, we want to provide educational elements, not just for our citizens, but also for our industry. And to that extent, we've sponsored Lake Havasu Farmers Market, the Rural Restaurant Boot Camp, the monthly quarterly community youth market that is personally one of my favorites. We help with First Friday. So all of these fantastic events that we have going on in the community are things that are very, very important to your tourism bureau. Of course, I couldn't be more proud of my bureau when we get recognitions. And this one recognition at the very top is the one to which I have been in this industry for over 20 years, but this is the highest honor to which I've ever been attached. The U.S. Travel Association put us on the short list for the Destiny Award for Community Building. And that wasn't just us, that was the Lake Havasu Hospitality Association for our efforts together as a team to create Havasu Helps Hospitality. Just to give you guys a quick update, that was a program that we ran during the pandemic in which we chipped in with the Hospitality Association to the tune of $60,000. We had donations from the community, from the business community, and from individuals, and we ended up feeding 8,535 of our furloughed restaurant workers when they really needed it. At the same time, they were also able to experience restaurants they may not have experienced before, and able to give our guests better recommendations. We also won the Adrian Silver Award for our digital marketing campaign. This is the second award we won for our digital marketing campaign, Find Your Element in Lake Havasu, Earth, Air, Water, and Fun. I'm always particularly proud of this because this was an advertising campaign that was not created by our agency of record. It was created in-house by our director of creativity, myself, and the rest of the staff. And I'm very, very proud of that because we put it together, we created it, the agency of record fleshed it out and promoted it, but very, very, very proud of my team for that. And of course, we couldn't be more proud to be Reagan Ross Robertson named the Outstanding Young Professional of the Year by Lake Havasu Area Chamber of Commerce. Two other awards I'll quickly mention. Bob's Red Mill Organic Foods awarded Lake Havasu Farmers Market with the top 5 farmers markets to make a difference in the community. So proud of that. And on top of that, the American Powerboat Association, NGK F1 Powerboat Championship, best race of the year last year. Wonderful, exciting things going on. And finally, one of my favorite things, and one thing I'm very, very proud of, and you, my God, have I said that word enough? But I am very, very proud of the efforts that my bureau does. We were awarded $125,000 for efforts to fund holidays in Havasu. That was a Visit Arizona partnership grant. Again, a Visit Arizona marketing grant. We were awarded $228,750 to fund a new television campaign in the San Francisco Bay Area and Chicago. Just for the audience's edification, why do we choose the San Francisco Bay Area and Chicago? It's because they're always bubbling under as 4th or 5th of engagement when it comes to social media and advertising. So we want to try and get them up and see if we can get them out here to Lake Havasu and make this their primary destination for vacationing and possibly a second home. And on top of that, we are very happy to receive an employee retention grant from the state of Arizona so that my employees, not myself, but my employees did receive an additional $8,000 compensation last year. Finally, we've got some really exciting things coming up this year. 2 of them are super fun. I'm not going to mention them right now because I want them to be surprises. But this is one thing that I will never hold back on. We have reconfirmed our dedication to become for Lake Havasu City to become a certified autism destination by 2023. As you know, everybody on my staff is a certified autism travel professional, meaning that they have gone through extensive training that allows them to understand what a person on the spectrum might be going through, and again, what we might be able to do to help those and their caregivers in the case of an emergency. To that extent, Jan Cassius, our Director of Visitor Services, has a quiet place in the Visitor Center. In case there is a meltdown in the English Village, we can certainly help that person and their caregivers out. We're going to extend that goal. 2023, Reagan and I have had many conversations with the certifying organization, IBCCES. We're going to be partnering with Mile Markers on this particular effort, and so we're very excited to have a local partner on that, and so you'll be hearing much more about that before my next address to this council. I'm certainly happy to take questions, but in conclusion, just let me say that Lake Havasu City has recovered from the pandemic at much, much, much higher levels than those in our competitive set. You all should be very proud of your city and very proud of yourselves for operating a city that is as welcoming as it is. We're very proud to represent this city, and because of our partnership with you guys and all of our efforts, we have recovered from this pandemic in ways that other communities can't even dream of. Our tourism numbers are currently declining slightly, but they're still in the highest in the city's history, and they're not going to decline to any extent where we need to be even the slightest bit worried about it. Current industry research right now shows continued growth in domestic and international travel, so that's something we can all be very happy about. And then again, Jackie Leatherman, our Director of Experiences, and I have been attending trade shows last year, and what we're seeing consistently is that travel suppliers are looking for destinations and activities which allow more social distance and destinations that care about their health and safety of their guests, and that's exactly what we have here in Lake Havasu City. So I appreciate you guys allowing me to speak. I'm certainly happy to take any questions from the council or the audience, but that is my address to you on this evening. So I appreciate you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Terrence. Are there questions of Terrence from members of the council?
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, Councilmember Lynn?
Yes, I just have a quick question.
Yes.
Mr. Knudsen, can you remind us again how much the city funds the CVB each year?
Mayor, Councilmember Lynn, would be guessing offhand. Do you recall, Terrence? The new
1.6.
funding award for the Goal Lake Havasu per year?
Just short of 1.6.
1.6 a year?
Yes. Yeah.
Is there any way that you could give the council and maybe make it available to the public, where in the past year, like that money kind of was like allocated?
Like our budget?
Yeah.
Sure, I can definitely send that to the council.
Okay,
Absolutely.
I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Terrence, you send that monthly to all of the council members.
I do.
Yeah, well, so we get a monthly update as well as an annual
The profit
update.
and loss, yeah, but the actual budget, because we haven't actually, it's not the end of the fiscal year yet, we haven't actually realized the entire budget, but I'm certainly happy to send you the budget we ratified last year.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that work?
And of course, your profit and loss statements are sent to you every month after my board meeting. So.
Okay, great. All right, any other questions or comments? All right, well, thank you, Terrence. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being here. All right, item 7.2 is the fiscal year 2021-22 second quarter contracted agency reports. Chief Doyle has included this in our packet. Unless there are any questions, they'll be filed as submitted. All right, moving on to item 7.3 is announced vacancies on Lake Havasu City boards, committees, and commissions. Ms. Williams.
Mayor and City Council, there are several vacancies on Lake Havasu City boards, committees, and commissions. The following is a listing of those vacancies. Board of Adjustment, 1 regular member and 3 alternate members. Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, 2 regular members. Anyone interested can pick up a packet at City Hall, and they are also available on the city's website at lhcaz.gov. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 7.4 is the city manager's report. Good evening, Mr. Knutson.
Yeah, good evening again. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Let's start out the report with kind of introducing one of the groups that Chief Palafis brought back to our fire department here very recently. I'd like to congratulate the 12 Lake Havasu City Fire Department members for completing 200 hours of training to become certified hazardous material technicians. This is the hazmat team, and they use nationally recognized standards and best practices to mitigate hazardous materials, emergencies, and respond to all level 1 and level 2 incidents within the city and throughout Mojave County. Our hazmat team is not involved in hazardous waste cleanup, but does coordinate those efforts using contractors certified by the Arizona Department of Environmental Quality. Team members must participate in year-round continuing education and training to keep their level of skills and abilities up to par. The Lake Havasu City Hazardous Materials team was rebuilt with the assistance of several grant funding opportunities at the state and county levels. So thank you, Chief Palafis, for bringing this back into the fold. We're ready to run. The past 2 weeks proved to be very busy for Mayor and for our council members and throughout the community. Just last Wednesday, March 2nd, Mayor, you proclaimed the day as Read Across America Day in Lake Havasu City. To celebrate, Mayor, you presented a proclamation to Smoke Tree Elementary School and read to a classroom at Telesis. Councilmembers Lynn, Moses, Koch, and Lane, you read to classrooms at Smoke Tree. And Vice Mayor Dolan, you presented a proclamation to a classroom at Nautilus Elementary School. Also on March 2nd, Mayor, council members, and staff met at the Lake Havasu Veterans Center to tour the facility with Outreach Director Andy Valenzuela, who we met earlier tonight. The Vet Center is located on Mesquite and provides confidential help for veterans, service members, and their families at no cost in a non-medical setting. Services include counseling and connections for more support in the VA and throughout the community. On Thursday, March 3rd, Mayor, council members, and staff attended the Lake Havasu High School Career and Technical Education Firefighter Forcible Entry Training class that was held over at Fire Station number 2. During the class, the Lake Havasu Professional Firefighters Association, Local 2974, gifted a forcible entry training prop to the Lake Havasu City Fire Department to use in-house for training and for the CTE Firefighter Training Program. The donated prop was worth $4,000. We'd like to thank the Lake Havasu Professional Firefighters Association for this donation for training purposes and to better serve our community. And we had Engineer Zink worked with our CTE students there, our future firefighters, on how to open that door that's locked solid when there might be a fire or people in need of rescue on the other side of that door. On Friday, March 4th, Mayor and Council, he attended the NOVA graduation. Mayor served as the keynote speaker and followed with Chief Dan Doyle, our Police Chief Dan Doyle. This year's NOVA program was taught at 8 schools at the 5th grade level with approximately 427 graduates. A few hot topics were discussed in the program, including bullying and cyberbullying, vaping, and the importance of studying to get good grades. On the night of March 4th, Mayor, you proclaimed the day as Teen Challenge of Arizona, Lake Havasu City Banquet Day, and presented it at their annual banquet. And on Saturday, March 5th, you proclaimed the day as Sauropatist International of Lake Havasu City Day at their inaugural Southwest Chowder Fest event, and later at the Havasu Pioneers Day at their Pioneer Reunion. And just yesterday, you welcomed the Marine Corps League for the posting of the colors in honor of the Mojave Military Museum exhibit hosted in City Hall throughout the month of March. The city, in conjunction with the Vietnam War Commemorative Partner Program, is proud to honor Lake Havasu City veterans, Vietnam veterans, at the upcoming Vietnam Veterans Day Outdoor Cookout. That's going to be on Tuesday, March 29th, and that's going to be at the Sarah Park Rodeo Grounds. The doors will open at 10:30 a.m. as the Marine Corps League opens with the posting of colors, followed by a few words honoring those Americans who served, returned, either return wounded, or who lost their lives serving our great country. Lunch will be served immediately following these activities, and is sponsored by the Elks Lodge, $23.99. If you'd like to join us, there is no RSVP required. Simply show up. All of our veterans throughout the community and those that support our veterans are invited to attend. We do have transportation if need be. Please call ahead and reserve a spot with our transit program. You can call 453-7600. If you do that before March 18th, we'll give you a ride to the event as well. If you want more information at this on this event as a whole, please look at our Facebook page, our website, or call the mayor's office at 453-4152. And our Havasu Youth Advisory Council is asking for the community to assist with an upcoming drive in connection with our clothes closets to collect gently used or barely worn and new tennis shoes from the community for those in need. Specifically, we need tennis shoes that are men's size 9 through 12 and for women's sizes 6 through 10. Special requests are made for non-skid black tennis shoes for those working or re-entering the workforce. So these are our shoes that would be donated and then provided to people that can't afford shoes. That's one of the barriers to get back maybe into the workforce or to attend that first day on the job. On March 14th, the public is invited to drop off your shoes. You can do it at City Hall, Titan Gym and Fitness Center, Havasu CrossFit, Feeling Good Fitness, 8 Lotus Yoga and Wellness, the Lama Yama Yoga, the Shred Factory, Pernet Havasu, and the Kimberly Michael Salon. And then if you miss out on those events on April 23rd at the City Hall parking lot from 9 to noon, that's kind of the last chance to donate those shoes. They're looking for about 500 pairs of tennis shoes to donate to the public through the clothes closet. And if you have any questions about that, same number at the mayor's office, 453-4152. And with that, Mayor and Council, that concludes my report.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to item 8, which is our public hearings. We'll start with 8.1, which is a Series 7 beer and wine liquor license for Papolioni's Pizza, 1440 McCulloch Boulevard, number 304. Ms. Williams.
Mayor and City Council, Nicholas Dave Felice III has applied for a Series 7 beer and wine bar liquor license for Papolioni's Pizza, located at 1440 McCulloch Boulevard, number 304. All posting requirements have been met, all fees have been paid, and no objections were received. The location is properly zoned for a Series 7 liquor license. Happy to answer any questions, and I believe the applicant is also in attendance tonight to answer any questions from the council.
Thank you. Do any members of the council have any questions for Ms. Williams or the applicant? All right, this is a public hearing. Would anyone like to address the city council on this matter? Perfect. All right, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, bring it back to council for discussion or possible motion.
Mayor?
Yeah, Councilmember Moses?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion. I move to recommend that the Arizona Department of Liquor Licenses and Control approve a Series 7 beer and wine bar liquor license for Papa Leone's Pizza, 1440 McCulloch Boulevard, number 304.
Second.
Third.
Okay. Fourth.
All right, we have a motion from Councilmember Moses and a second from Councilmember Campbell. Is there any additional discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to item 8.2. Approve amendment number 1 to the Solid Waste Facilities Operation Agreement with Allied Waste Transportation, Inc., DBA Republic Services. Ms. Gary.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a proposed amendment to the Solid Waste Facilities Operation Agreement that was entered into July 1st, 2019. Recently, Allied Waste, or known as Republic Service, was informed by the Arizona Department of Environmental Quality that monitoring wells must be installed around the landfill. Currently, in the operation agreement, there is a provision regarding ground wells or monitoring wells, but it's very brief. At that time, obviously, they weren't required. It just stated if they are required, they'll be the responsibility of the contractor. Well, now that they are being required, we want to, as staff, put in some protections to avoid some of the issues that we've run into with monitoring wells that are put on our property but not installed and owned by us. So that's things like we want copies of the reports, or we may want to split samples, so we want to make sure that we have that somewhere in the agreement. And then also just to cover if the agreement were ever to terminate, how those wells are going to be abandoned or how they're going to transfer ownership to the city. So those are just issues that we've run into with other wells, so we want to make sure that we have those in this agreement. So that's the purpose of the amendment and why city staff is asking for the amendment. As far as why the monitoring wells are required at all, a part of the original operation agreement requires the contractor to seek vertical expansion of the landfill. And so they are doing that piece. They've made the necessary applications for the permit with ADEQ. One of the prerequisites that they are required to install these monitoring wells to be able to go forward with the continuation and obtaining that permit for the vertical expansion. And so this is now part of they've come up with a groundwater monitoring plan, and now they're going to install these wells, and so all of this kind of fits together. We do have representatives here from Republic, so they can answer any technical questions that you might have. Otherwise, staff recommends approval of this item, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Gary. Are there any questions of Ms. Gary?
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, Councilmember Lane.
I'm not sure if Mrs. Gary can answer or not, but I guess the concern that I might have is there going to be any type of reassurance that there isn't going to be an environmental impact to, like, in regards to our water and our lake on this contract? I'm concerned with them monitoring that to make sure that it's done properly enough, and I need a reassurance from them that there won't be any contamination or anything this is more on not just so much an illegal thing, but for our residents to make sure that our water is going to stay safe and that the lake's going to be safe, if that makes sense.
Yep, Councilmember Lemon, the whole purpose of putting the monitoring wells in is to monitor what is occurring out there. So they will require reporting, and that will be something that'll be watched. So if an issue is experienced, we'll be able to take care of that, or they'll be able to take care of that as soon as possible. There's no assurance that nothing will ever be detected. However, this is a great step in monitoring the activity that's occurring out there.
Okay, so I understand there's no total reassurance. So I guess maybe, I don't know how I'm going to.
So under the original contract, they're responsible for the activities that occur out at the landfill. So if something were to occur, it's their responsibility to remediate it.
And Councilmember Lane, I think it would be fair to say that ADEQ shares the same concern that you have and that we have. And through this monitoring process, there will be reporting that will be required to ADEQ. We also will get a copy based on this agreement that's in front of us tonight, which then would, ADEQ would manage the mitigation strategies to ensure the safety of our natural resources in the area. So I think we have a mutual shared concern, and this agreement just solidifies to ensure that we're a partner to that. But ADEQ, when it comes to the reporting requirements, will be the agency that will be mitigating any concerns or issues if they should arise in the future.
And I
Councilmember
just
Campbell?
agree
Yes.
that I'd like to make sure that we get all the updated reports. That's what my big question would be. I want to completely be due diligent on this. And I also have lots of concerns, as everybody in the community does, about keeping our soils safe and our groundwater not contaminated. So I do have a couple questions for the representative, real brief ones, and that's about it.
Wonderful.
Great. So if Republic would like to join us at the podium and just introduce yourself, and then we'll start with you, Councilmember Campbell, with your questions for Republic.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Brescian McGuire. I'm the general manager with Republic Services here. And we've got Will, our environmental manager as well.
Yeah.
We're good. But okay, so what was the question we can help you with?
Okay, my question, first off, I want to confirm that you lease the land from BLM.
The city leases the land from BLM. There's 3 smaller parcels of land that the city owns, and it just so happens that one of these parcels is the drilling site for one of the wells.
Okay.
And that's where this came from.
And I received the original copy later this afternoon, so I apologize that I briefly went through it. And I now realize that Section 7 states that even though these are the minimum standards of your insurance for general liability, safety, and $5 million here, $1 million there combined, I did realize in Section 7.1, the contractor is just stating that this is a minimal liability insurance that you're covering, but you intend to cover any or problems that may arise out of that. Can you clarify that more?
The language in the contract, I don't know that I want to try to clarify that more, but anything that arises, we are responsible for the site maintenance management and anything that would happen. So the liability for something that occurs is going to fall on us, Republic Services, to mitigate and deal with. And so,
thank you. Thank you much. Appreciate that.
Perfect. Are there any additional questions from members of the council for the applicant or for staff? Yeah, so a lot of this, just a little bit of historical perspective, a lot of this came to be when our blue garbage bins came to town. And so this is where some of the initial agreements were. At that time, we were looking at a much shorter lifespan for our landfill and what our landfill was going to be. And we did a landfill study at that point. And so for the expansion components of that landfill, based on that study, was this vertical that now Republic is asking for approval to do so. And the trigger to ask for that requires ADQ to have these monitoring wells. So it kind of all comes together. And then through staff's interpretation and review of it is to ensure that we remain a viable partner in that and have the reports and all of those things and spelled out. So it's clear. So all parties understand exactly what's expected of each other and we can perform accordingly. So yeah, Councilmember Campbell.
With one other question then, I understand that you guys had discussed for some reason or another, if the landfill had to be shut down, that you would possibly transport trash out. And if not, have we identified another location in Lake Havasu City or surrounding areas that could be potential for future landfill obligations?
Yeah, great question, Councilmember Campbell. So with this landfill study, what had occurred is the shorter window that we were looking at has now been expanded to 30 to 40 years. So we have a very large outlook. A lot can change in technology and what that would look like in different sites. And we do have a refuse fund. It's one of our enterprise funds that there are funds identified in there to identify or pay for a future site should that need arise in the future. So we're decades out on that. So we don't have one right now, but we do have opportunities with partnerships with other landfills or the county or a lot of options that we could explore as that date nears in future decades.
I appreciate that. There's some of us on council here that weren't party to all those conversations, and we're learning as we go. But I agree that everybody here cares immensely about our groundwaters and our soil contaminations, and we all need to be at the table, this current council as well.
Yeah,
thank you.
Absolutely. Councilmember Lynn?
Yeah, I just have a quick question. It doesn't even really regard to this, but how much more life do we have of this?
About 50 years remaining from now. With the expansion, the 30-foot vertical expansion, that's going to take us to about 50 years left at the current rate. And as the mayor alluded to, there's many things we can do to lengthen that, and it's just a problem that hasn't been discussed yet.
Yeah. All right. Are there any additional questions before we open it up? All right. This is a public hearing. Would anyone like to address the City Council on this matter? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing, bring it back to council for any future discussion or possible motion.
Mayor?
Councilmember Moses?
Yeah, I move to approve Amendment Number 1 to Solid Waste Facilities Operation Agreement with the Allied Waste Transportation, Inc.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Moses and a second from Councilmember Koch. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Item 8.3 is award task order agreement number 4 to the Engineering Master Professional Services Agreement with Jacobs Engineering Group, Inc. for the Water Treatment Plant Filter PLC Replacement Design Project. Mr. Sloan.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. As you know, the water treatment plant was constructed in 2004, and some of that equipment is now reaching the end of its useful life. The Filter Programmable Logic Controller, or PLC, is used to modulate the flow through the filters and into the water treatment plant, and also controls the backwasher cleaning of the filters. This computerized equipment is at the end of its life and is no longer serviceable due to the fact that we cannot get replacement parts. It is also the last of the PLC upgrades at the water treatment plant. This contract is for the design of the new PLC equipment, including producing bid documents for competitive bidding of the project next fiscal year. This project was planned and budgeted in this fiscal year operating budget in the Water Utility Fund. And that concludes my staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Sloan. Are there any questions for Mr. Sloan and members of the council? All right, this is a public hearing. Would anyone like to address the city council on this matter? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and bring it back to council for any additional discussion or possible motion.
Mr. Mayor, motion.
Yes, Councilmember Lane.
I move to award task order agreement number 4 to the Engineering Master Professional Services Agreement with Jacobs Engineering Group, Inc. for the Water Treatment Plant Filter PLC Replacement Design Project in the amount of $78,823.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Lane and a second from Councilmember Moses. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. All right, item 9 is our current events. Are there any council committee reports?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Councilmember Lane.
so I had to write it down. The board wants the council to know before going into budget planning that their major concerns are making sure that the city focuses on what we already have in regards to parks and recreation. And this is for the Parks and Rec Board. Sorry, I probably didn't say that.
Which board?
Sorry. And making sure those areas are properly maintained. They want to make sure that we invest in what we already have. They also wanted to let the council know that the way that they see the prioritizing of projects are as followed. Maintenance of current infrastructure. Second, partnerships with the school districts and associations, for example, like the Pickleball Association and everything they've helped with. 3, the Downtown Catalyst Project. And 4, the Havoc at the Aquatic Center. And 5th, the trail sign improvements. They just want to make sure that the council knows the board has a voice as projects move forward.
Great.
And that's all I have.
Thank you. Any additional council committee reports?
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, Vice Mayor Dolan.
Just want to let you know, for the Airport Advisory Board, we're having a terminal talks with the airport manager. It is tomorrow night at 5:30 at the main terminal at the airport. The main discussion item will be the runway closure coming up this summer, where we're going to completely repave the runway and how that's going to impact and how we're trying to prepare for it. So that's tomorrow at the main terminal at 5:30 p.m. at the airport.
Excellent, thank you. Any additional council committee reports? All right, next item is item 10, future meetings. Our next meeting will be on Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022 at 6 p.m. It's a regular meeting. And then on Tuesday, April 12th, 2022 at 6 p.m., we will also have a regular meeting. Item 11, are there any future discussion items?
Mayor?
Yeah, Councilmember Campbell.
I found it very intriguing about a motion to discuss an ordinance on gas gouging practices. I know in the past I've had several people say the same thing. Why does Havasu, why are we allowed to do that? I've always thought that that was kind of a capital thing. I didn't know how much we can be involved in that. Is this something we can be involved in? I guess we can't discuss it now, but is it something we can discuss in the future on the practices of gas and what's going on when they raise prices to our citizens.
Perfect. Is there a second for a council member that would like to second that for a future discussion item on a future agenda?
Sure, I'll second that. I'd like to know, after having the conversation earlier, well, the discussion item, I think that would be good.
Yeah, fantastic. Mr. Knudsen, do you have enough information?
Yes, sir.
All right, excellent. Any additional future discussion items? All right, seeing none, item 12 is do a motion to adjourn? Yes. All right, we have a motion and a second. Thank you everyone for being here. We'll see you next time. Be kind. We are adjourned.